The only real God is the one that you believe in. Start looking for the God in others. And if you find you're tuning into a wave, well then I don't know much about being saved.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, friends.
Welcome into another episode of Spiritual Philosophy Chatter with the Joneses. I'm Danny Jones.
And I am Samantha Jones.
And this is episode 173.
173.
What are we talking about?
This is self-care.
Nice.
This is very, very important.
Yes.
Really it is.
Mucho.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Before we get into that important stuff, anything you want to talk about from last week?
Yes. Last week we repeat what we don't repair. And we got some really cool feedback from this episode, so I want to read a couple of these.
Cool.
This one's from Crystal. She said, "What an amazing show. I really learned so much, and I have some work to do, honestly, after listening. I will definitely listen to this one again. So funny, you were saying something about going back and listening to your beginning podcast, and after this one quit playing, it automatically started on your very first podcast, which was really weird."
Yeah, rough.
Yeah. "You both sound so much more confident now and much more flow going on. Congrats to Danny on landing the music on the new show. I'm so thrilled for you both."
That was sweet.
Thank you, Crystal. Yeah, I don't, the first one especially, don't do it. Just don't do it, because we didn't have, Danny was learning how to do all of this stuff, how to kind of be the engineer, and we really didn't have any clue what we were doing, so those first 3 or 4 episodes are really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had upgraded to the system and different microphones.
Yeah.
And learning. The learning curve was big.
The learning, yeah.
So
yeah.
maybe we should have waited.
It worked out,
If anything, it shows our path, our journey.
It really does. The confidence, too. Without even going back and listening to that, I know at the beginning that I was really, really shy and didn't really want to talk. It helped me to come out of my shell a lot. Yeah, for sure. So thank you, Crystal.
Thank you, Crystal. That was sweet.
And then Sunshine, she said, "Awesome as usual. I felt a little called out at the end when Danny was talking about how you won't get much out of life if you were kicking and screaming the whole way. I spent a lot of years not learning my lessons and letting my trauma run me for sure. It's only gotten better as I've bucked up and took a look at what I needed to learn. Thanks for the amazing hour, guys."
Wow.
Yeah, it does. It takes, I would say the same thing. It takes time. And, it didn't really hit me until I got older, all of this, and with the spiritual awakening. Before it, I understand why they called it awake or woke, because before I really it wasn't even that I wasn't open to what was going on in the world around me so much as I didn't even pay attention to what was going on in myself.
Yeah.
Why I did the things I did or any of that. I didn't pay attention to any of that. So the spiritual journey, I think it pushes us down that path. So I beat myself up too sometimes about shoulda, coulda, woulda, but there's no time machine. So we just have to appreciate what we've learned and take it as it comes going forward.
Oh, yeah.
And then Paul said, "Really enjoyed it. The hour flies by. A good reminder to ditch the bad habits. At least having awareness there, bad is a start."
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you guys for that. We
input.
love the feedback. Yeah. And then we go into our questions. So this one is from Brittany. She says, "I was writing you because I'm catching up on the podcast and listening now to 165 and relating so much. I'm struggling with the same soda addiction you spoke of. I'm not sure how you beat it, but I have got to get it under control. I think Danny mentioned you woke up and cracked a soda and drank it all day and had another one right before bed. Talk about feeling convicted. That is me. I have to learn to put the Cokes and Dr. Pepper down. Additionally, speaking about self-destructive behaviors and the childhood trauma that is linked to it resonates so deeply with me." So she wanted to know a little bit more about how I got over the soda addiction. What did I do to put it behind me? Do you want to know the only thing that I really could have done is I just quit it. I just had to quit. And it did take a lot for me to quit. And I was working up to it. I kind of felt it coming. And your stepmom went through the same thing, a soda drinker her whole life. And then she quit. Because I would look at people and go, how do you not drink soda?
Yeah.
How is that even possible? It was so foreign to me, I didn't even understand.
That's funny.
So when I gave it up, I had actually gotten really sick because I drank nothing but soda one day when I went to Disneyland, and it was like 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And I was like sick for a week from it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I felt it. The universe told me it's time. It's time to let it
Yeah.
go. And so I did. And I stopped drinking soda for about 3 years. I did not have one single soda at all. Even when we went out one night, we had this music thing we went to, and so I had a drink. I drank vodka cran, which isn't my drink of choice because I like rum and Coke, and I didn't want to drink the Coke. Now I can have a soda, and I'm not addicted to it anymore. I can have one, and
It actually
it's not a
doesn't
big deal.
feel good when I have them.
No. That is a very good point.
Especially if you drink like a 32 ounce. No.
A bladder buster.
It's like jittery and
Yeah.
chemically. Like I feel like, like jittery and chemically. I don't know, inside. It's a weird feeling.
Because really, you kind of quit soda with me because I stopped buying it.
Yeah, and I wasn't a real big one anyways.
No.
I would drink tea.
You did, but you said to me many times, if you didn't buy soda, I wouldn't drink it because I felt bad. I was like, now I'm going to stop buying soda, and then you're not going to have it. And you're like, I only drink it because it's here.
Yeah.
But there were like a few times that we went out and you'd have a soda and you'd feel bad, or you would be like, I got to sneak the soda, like you had to quit too. But no, now I can have one. My face breaks out. Almost instantly, every time. Isn't it just a trip?
Yeah.
Every time. So it's really not worth it. But like last night we went for sushi and I really wanted to have a soda, but I was like, not worth the pimples and the way I'm going to feel afterwards. I don't feel good. So I can guarantee you, I will put money on this when I say that if you stop drinking soda, if you have an acne problem like I did, it will clear up. You'll probably lose weight because I lost a lot of weight, and you will feel so much better.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so much better not drinking soda every day. My stomach, my everything, really, I do.
Yeah, I kind of don't really want to know what's in all that.
I don't
That's
either.
That's why I don't drink it a lot. And as a matter of fact, your sister had some when she stayed here.
Yeah, vanilla
and there's
Coke.
still some in
There
the
is.
fridge.
Yep, that was a couple months ago.
Because it's not very often, really.
No, it's not. It's really not. So really all I can say is you have to want to do it. You have to be at that point where you're like, I have to do this. And then just stop. And I thought I was going to go through withdrawals, but I didn't. I drank tea instead, and I did fine.
Yeah.
It's mind over matter, really, I think, in that case. So
That's with a lot of crutches.
it is. It really is. And they're hard. It was an addiction. It really was. And it was something I never thought I would break, but I'm so glad I did. And I wish I would have done it long before I did because my teeth suffered. A lot of things suffered.
Yeah.
So, but even like my thyroid level is better than it was. So I wonder how much that played with my thyroid level and my migraines.
Yeah.
And
It's only going to help you if you decide to make that choice.
I think
for sure.
so.
Yeah.
So I hope that helps you, Brittany, and let us know how you're doing with that.
Good luck with it, Brittany.
Yes, thank you. And then this one is actually from my sister. And it's kind of something that her and I are both dealing with. So she said, how do you deal with people that don't believe in your abilities? And it's a hard question. At the beginning of the journey, I used to get so upset, like if I thought somebody didn't believe me or if they, thought that I wasn't real or whatever. I didn't want anybody to know about my abilities. And to be honest, like it doesn't really bother me like that anymore because I know what my abilities are.
Right.
I know what I can do, no matter what anybody else thinks. I actually had this lady, I have this happen quite a bit, actually. I had this lady that messaged me, and it was in Italian. And I don't read Italian, so I went and put it on Google Translate, and even Google Translate couldn't do it for me. But my sister did. Somehow she did. And basically this lady was saying, if you're psychic, tell me what I'm thinking right now. This was a message that was sent through my website.
Yeah, she said, like, what's the thought in my head?
What's the thought in my head? Or
the
something
picture
like
in my
that.
head.
Yeah.
The image, I can't remember how the word was.
Something. Whatever it was a challenge.
Right.
And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Why would I respond? Because people don't understand the abilities. That's one of the biggest reasons why I think people don't believe is because they don't understand. They think that a psychic is supposed to know everything all the time. And I can tell you that I do not. And I appreciate that a lot. I really do. Even when I want to, like those stupid Zener cards, the ones that have, like the plus and the circle and the square, and you have to intuitively pick which one. I am so bad at those. I'm like, I'm a psychic. How am I bad at this? Because I don't know everything. I have to listen for it. I can't just produce something out of thin air.
Right.
And I need to be attached to the person's energy. This woman that messaged me, I probably could have told her maybe if I really wanted to get into it. But why would I want to do that? What would be the point? Just let it be. It's like,
it's not to say that
ignorance.
you couldn't at some point, or that there's others that can't. I mean, you're still kind of relatively new with this. So, it's your path is, you got a long way to go. You got a life to live,
And that's what I love about doing this podcast and people being able to see that, seeing how I started, because we started the podcast almost a year exactly to the date of when I found out about my abilities. So if you go back and you listen to the beginning stuff, my abilities were baby. I was a baby medium.
Yeah.
My things are still really growing with me. I'm still really learning how to be a psychic. When it comes to my readings, that doesn't really show there. My readings, I'm usually very, very accurate and get a lot of detail. I would like to get more details. But when it comes to just the everyday things, I'm getting more and more used to the abilities and seeing exactly what they involve. And if you don't have them and you've never known a psychic, you may have a completely wrong idea of what these abilities are about, like that person that messaged me. So I usually shrug off the naysayers. Years ago, that lady would have bothered me. Yeah. But this time, I was not having the greatest day, but I just shrugged it off. That was the day I actually said to the universe, bring it, come on. I feel it, you're bringing it. And it did. They gave me that. And then some other guy that told me that he was going to ruin my group because I turn off comments in it so that people don't spam my people in my private reading group. It was all like wham, wham. But these are the things that psychics take because people don't get it. You
have nothing really to prove to anybody but yourself.
No.
This is your life, your journey. So I kind of always love falling back on that that statement that's floating around out there that others' opinions of you are none of your business.
Yes.
So if they don't believe you, now this particular person that's coming out and sort of searching you out to ask you a question like this, I mean, do you want to waste your time and really try to guess what the person's thinking, or tap into what they're thinking?
Not at all. Not for 1 second. I don't want to waste my energy.
But you've had some people that, readings you've done where people are negative.
Yes, I have.
And they're rude.
They're rude, yep. Mm-hmm.
And I would say that's like 0.5% of your overall readings.
Yes. I've really never had a complaint. Maybe once when I first started because I was having a bad day and I shouldn't have done the reading. Right. But I've never really had somebody say to me, that was a horrible reading. I did have one, this lady that was kind of testing me, and it was a very weird story. But she came back and she said, I thought that you were bad at your job, but you're actually really good at it. It was just a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
So that happens a lot too, where I'll tell them something and they won't understand what I'm talking about, and then they let it process a while. Right. But for the most part, people are very, very positive, and I'm very thankful for that. So, but there's always going to be those people that are naysayers or don't believe or whatever. Right. And it's not worth it because we know what we can do. Yeah. And that's all that really matters.
It's part of the lesson.
Can help people. Yeah, exactly.
You've handled it well.
Thank you. It hasn't always been easy. No. But I do the best that I can. A lot of times these people, I'd really like to say something rude back, but what would be the point?
Right.
I think that's something I just deal with it internally and, or talk to you about it and just let it process for a minute. And then I go, it's not worth it. If I reacted spontaneously, then it might be different, but I try to process first. So anyways, that was a good question, Amanda. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda Yarrington Bird.
She doesn't like it when you involve the Yarrington. Okay. So then I do a reading every week. So let's do the reading.
Okay.
This is for Paul. Paul says, my mom, Jan, departed last year, really want to know that she is at peace and happy. And this
Jan,
yes. This is Jan. Jan is very nurturing. Yeah, because today has been a rough day for me. I'm not going to lie. And she is very comforting. She's like, you've had a rough day, so don't like get on yourself if this reading isn't absolutely what you want it to be. Because sometimes when I'm having a rough day, it might be harder for me to get things. I usually get into it and then I'm fine. But I feel like she's just telling me just, be cool.
Right.
And that's a nurturing type of feeling. Not all mothers will make you feel that way.
That's nice.
So, yeah. So I definitely feel like that's telling me that she was very nurturing to you as well. And to her little doggy here in the picture. She loved being a mom. She loved being able to brag about her kids and her dogs too. It's funny. She loved the dogs as well and the animals. She was very much an animal person is what she's telling me. Let's see what else she wants to say. She is very much at peace over there, very happy. She's only been there almost a year, and she has reconnected with a lot of people. She's telling me people that she didn't even know had passed. I love it when I hear that from spirits and they tell me, I didn't know this person was here. And then I see them and I'm like, whoa, I didn't know you died. That's got to be interesting, right? How did you die?
I think that's for a lot of people. Because think of all the people that you went to high school with, that you're not in contact with anymore. And then you get to heaven, you're like, oh my God, you're here.
You're here? Yeah, absolutely. I've had a couple of spirits come to me that I'm like, no, you're not there.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyways, let's get back to Jan. Let's see what she's doing over there. She is very involved in your life. So she tells me that she does spend a lot of time with you and that there's other family that she spends time with as well. But when what she's doing over there, when she's, spending her time on the other side, is she likes to learn. She really wants to learn about as much as she can so then the next time that she comes back here, she can do things a little bit differently. Because I feel like this time in her life, she didn't live as much for herself as she should have, which is interesting because she's telling me this self-care episode would have been good for her because she didn't self-care. She put her family first, and she didn't mind that. She didn't really think too much about it, but now looking back on things, she wishes that she would have given herself a little bit more attention instead of putting it into everything else and thinking that she didn't need that self-care for herself.
Yeah.
Let's see what else she wants to say. There's something about an uncle. I think that she's there with either her uncle or your uncle, because she mentioned an uncle. It was a very quick mention. But let's see. Hold on, because they do this. They like up here in the reading. So then this male figure, this uncle, comes in, and he's loud. He's more boisterous. Like your mom's kind of quiet, and he comes in more outgoing and louder. Funny. But your mom is looking at him like he's got a little bit too much energy. It's cute. She's like, calm down. You're a little bit too much. But they like spending time together. So I think, this feels like a brother type relationship. It could have been her uncle, but it feels more like brother and sister. Let's see what else she wants to say to you. She wants you to know that, of course, she loves you very much. She says that she told you that a lot and that she hopes that you never forget it, that she is very proud of everything that you've accomplished in your life. She's proud of the spiritual path that you have chosen to take, and she will help you to open that more and more. She's really fresh there. So I'm sure you're seeing things, you're seeing signs already and all that. But I'll tell you that my mom's been there for 18 years and it just gets stronger and stronger. And if you let it, it will just continue more and more. Yeah. So she says to buckle up because it's going to be fun. She's going to take you on a very cool spiritual journey, she says.
No, that's cool.
Yay. So I hope that helps you, Paul, and your mom, Jan. Thank you for coming through, Jan.
Thanks, Jan.
Appreciate
and Paul.
Yep. Thank you both very much. And then before we start the episode, shall we give our information?
Do it.
Okay, so you can find me at Samantha Jones Psychic Medium. If you would like to reach us at the show, you can email us spiritualjoneses@gmail.com or find us on social media at spiritualjoneses. And you, sir?
For my art, djonesartcollection.com for the web, at djonesartcollection for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Yay.
That's all I got.
Very good.
All right. Episode 173, Self-Care.
Self-care. Before I put this episode together, there were a lot of things that I really didn't realize were self-care. And I think that more people they are doing self-care more than they realize that they're doing. I think they think more like, I got to take a vacation for it to be self-care. But there's a lot of little things that you can do, and we'll talk about it, to help yourself. Because really, like, first of all, this is your life. However you want to look at it, this is your life. Whether you have 1 kid, 10, none, whether you are married or not, it's still your life. And in order for you to live your best life, you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You have to put just as much energy into yourself as you do into everything else so that you can enjoy it. Because we are not put here to just work and die. No. We're not. We are supposed to enjoy this journey. Yeah. We're supposed to have a balance of everything, of the work and the home life and the self-care and the things that we enjoy and everything. So in this episode, I'm hoping that we'll be able to give some ideas of ways that you can add some self-care into your routine.
Yeah, because, I mean, ultimately, how do we care for others if we can't care for ourselves?
That's exactly right. Yep. I tell people that all the time. Exactly that. So let's see. So self-care is actually a form of alternative medicine in a way that it is meant to treat mental and physical issues without medicine of any kind, without Western medication at all.
Nice.
Self-care involves personal factors like self-reliance, empowerment, and personal responsibility, taking control of things. Though, there's so much of it. All the stress relief activities in the world won't help you if you aren't taking care of yourself.
Right.
They really won't. All the meditating, really, as much as I preach meditation, I can tell you that on the days that I'm not like really being good to myself, there's no amount of meditation that's going to help that at all. So self-care has been defined as anything that includes staying healthy emotionally, physically, or spiritually. So there is a long list of things here that can be called self-care.
Yeah.
One of the things that I hear the most from my clients and from our listeners is that they feel selfish. They feel like self-care is self-indulgent. But it's not, though. Self-care just means you're taking care of yourself so that you can be healthy. And like Danny said, how can you help other people if you can't take care of yourself?
For me, that's kind of what it boils down to. I mean, I get it. And somehow, I even get the selfish part. I somehow relate to that. I think that, where do we get that from?
I don't know.
Is that somebody making us feel guilty, like they're envious or jealous, so then we feel like we're being selfish? Is that just a society thing? There's not enough of this to go around for everybody. But the bottom line is it's 2 words that sound very similar, but there's no ish in self-care.
No, it's true.
It's about learning to take care of yourself first. And then I think you can see that being reflective in the way that you handle and care for others.
Absolutely. I am not 100% perfect at it by any means. I have times where I'm better at the self-care and others where I'm not. But I'm thankful my mother was not the type that didn't partake in self-care. She actually loved certain things like massages and getting your nails done and your hair done and stuff like that.
And that's a part of it.
Very small, but yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah, self-care absolutely could be just going and getting a massage, just relaxing, getting out of your brain for a little while.
Right.
So I appreciate that she taught me that those things are okay for me to do, because I've met a lot of people that are like, I've never had a massage, that they think that massages are only for rich people, but you can go to, there are nice foot massage places that you can have a massage for $20. Yeah. They'll kick your ass really good too, but it's worth it. And it's not self-indulgent. It's not a luxury. It shouldn't be relaxing your muscles. Like I have really bad shoulder problems and into my jaw. Like if my shoulders are really tense, then it gets into my jaw. So having a massage and relieving the muscles there, it really helps to relieve the jaw pain. Yeah. And that relieves headaches. So you're really helping yourself, not just mentally, but physically. So we have to stop looking at these things as self-indulgent.
No, I mean, when we're saying self-care, that could mean mentally and physically.
Yep. It is important for your long-term health, too, if you think about it. If you neglect yourself and your self-care for a long time, you're affecting your long-term health. Absolutely. So I asked our listeners, do you practice self-care on a regular basis? 50% said I try to. We'll try harder. That's going to be the assignment for this week. I love to give assignments. And like teacher Mantha. No, just kidding. But I do like to help people. And I think if we could all this week try and focus more on that, that is a good assignment for the week. Yep. 23% said yes, that they do. And 27% said no. Katie said, if I try to, but I don't, which button do I pick? I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Paul said, I'm good at telling other people to do it. Yeah, me too. I'm here right now telling everybody. Yeah, no.
It could be, so many different things. I think it has a lot to do with the state of mind that you're in. It's like all, again, about kind of perception. So let's say some guy loves golf. There's many people that love golf. And that can be a very relaxing thing for somebody.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's a form of self-care, sure.
And for
Not
somebody
for me.
else, it could be very competitive and uptight.
Yep.
I don't know, but I'm not a golfer. But that's, even something like that is every day.
Yep.
Like, I'll give you an example for me. And this is funny. We were out looking at open houses last week. And just driving around, looking at different open houses. Not because we want to buy, but we were just kind of bored and wanted something to do.
Something to do, yeah. Free entertainment.
So, yeah.
Free
And I
snacks
love to look at,
sometimes, too.
different houses and layouts and things.
Me
and we saw
too.
some pretty neat ones.
We did, yeah.
But we came across an estate sale that hadn't started, but it was about to start.
Yeah.
And that's the reason this house was up for sale. The parents of this gentleman had passed. And there was a lot of really neat stuff. But I just saw this 1940 Philco shortwave AM radio console. And it was just exquisite. The wood and the shape of it. And we both were like, what?
This was the universe in work, for
my
sure.
jaw just dropped.
Me too.
They had little colored stickers on everything that were being priced. Some were blank, but this one wasn't. So I was like, it says 75.
Yeah.
So
No
I'm
way.
thinking $75. Well, that's not very expensive,
Yeah.
And so we asked him, and we said, honestly, we're not really interested in the house. We noticed that there is a estate sale going on, but when is this happening? And so he passed on our information, and we were able to get it a week before or a couple days before.
They haven't even started
Oh, they
the
haven't
sale
even started
yet.
the sale yet.
Yeah. 2
So-
weeks, I think.
Anyways, it was just, so we came home, and I was just obsessed.
He was. I'm like, are you going to sleep with that
She
radio
did.
tonight?
I had gotten out, I cleaned it, with toothpicks, because there was, dust collection in the corners, the 90-degree corners and stuff. Q-tips, and got all the dust out, and then I took this furniture polish and just went off on it and just stared at it for, probably a
awesome.
good couple hours, while working on it. But then I stood there afterwards, and she's like, are you going to sleep here tonight? But to me, that was something I needed to do.
Yeah.
I just turned on music, and I was like in the sitting in the history of this thing. I could feel
Yeah,
it.
totally.
I could feel it, and so having music playing, and it works too. It doesn't sound very good, but it works. But just kind of doing that for myself for a moment, where I was away from everybody, just doing something on my own that was laborious, but it was my train of thought as I was doing it.
Yes, for sure.
It was relaxing for me.
That is absolutely a form of self-care. And a lot of people might not even have realized that is a form of self-care. Yeah. Anything that kind of gets you out of your own head and happy. That's really what it's supposed to be about, is things that raise your vibration. And yeah, you were having a great time. I loved watching it. I thought it was hysterical because I think it's absolutely beautiful. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, $75, no way.
Right.
But I wasn't going to spend the whole day with it, but you did. And it was really sweet. It was cute to watch.
I didn't really plan on it. I was like, I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. And then I felt like, God, this thing is, it's like this poor little thing that did nothing to nobody neglected. And just neglected. And now I look at it and it looks like it's almost practically like brand new.
Yep.
And when we researched it, they're like in upwards of $700.
Yep.
For a collector. But
yep.
Still, I was like, dang, we scored.
We did. And that was a gift from the universe. And that's how things work. Like, we didn't go there intending to buy anything that day.
Right.
And honestly, we weren't like really, we were out looking at like the big houses. We wanted to see the extravagant houses.
Right.
And this house was not extravagant at all. But we were just like, all right, well, sure, let's just go look. And it was just wild how it kind of happened.
Yeah, because some we just drove by the front door and didn't even go in.
No, and yeah,
We
this is one of them.
considered
Yeah.
passing this one up.
But there was a sign, and
That said estate sale, so we're like, ding!
No, I don't know if you noticed this, but I think I mentioned this to you when we left, that the real estate sign in the front yard said Linda somebody.
Oh, how funny.
So when we walked in there and I caught the Linda, I was like, but why? Like, we're not going to buy this house?
Yeah.
And then there's a radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made all the sense.
Unagi.
But anyways, long story, but yeah, good one. That was
Yeah.
a good story, for sure. So why don't we talk about some types of self-care? Because there's many different types and there's many things that fall into those categories. So like emotional self-care. This is the type of self-care where it's more emotional related, like playing music, listening to music, seeing a therapist, writing in your journal, those types of things. Practical self-care, taking classes, decluttering and organizing. I will tell you that for me, clutter makes me insane. It does you too. Like when there's things, and it will make your brain like crazy.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling like, you're the clutter is making you crazy, clean it.
Yeah.
Feng shui your house because you might feel so much better, and that is a form of self-care. Absolutely. Redecorating is a form of self-care. Painting your house.
Yeah.
so
We
many
recently
things.
took up a dancing class.
Yes, we did. That would go
Ballroom
into
dancing.
Yes.
And it's fun. It's like it gets, your mind on another task
Yes.
for a moment, and you're not thinking about anything else, but you're just hearing the music and moving with it.
Yep. I
You
think
know?
it's a great form of
And
self-care.
it takes a lot of concentration. So I don't have time to be thinking about, oh my God, I didn't do this or I didn't do that.
Exactly. And I think that that's supposed to be what self-care does for us, is it takes our mind away from whatever it is that we're obsessing about or worrying about or whatever. And yes, the ballroom dancing absolutely has done that. I love that. Just you have to be right there. You have to pay attention to it or you're going to get stepped on.
Right.
So,
Well, and what's cool too for me, I think the part of the way I feel about it is that, like, we work from home and we obviously live together. We're married,
yeah.
and we work together
Yep.
for this at least, and
Yep.
then we have our kind of separate quarters that we do our other work in.
Yep.
But we spend a lot of time together. But this is something to do that's not.
Yeah.
It's not just leisurely. We're sitting at home,
Right.
Or we're working together. It's
active.
It's doing something,
Yep.
experiencing something together. And that part I love because I just want more of that.
Yeah.
I want more things to do like together that are just fun like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great form of self-care and for us to do together and
Right.
and it's bonding for sure. So highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Lots of fun. And might find a Groupon. That's what I found.
Yeah.
We're going to continue after the Groupon because we really like it.
Yep.
So, and that goes into the next category, which is physical. Even things like just taking a walk or a short hike or, staying hydrated even is self-care because if you're dehydrated, you're not going to feel great at all. Some other things we talked about, getting a massage, sleeping. Good sleep is very, very important. So making sure that you get 8 hours of sleep is self-care by itself.
Right.
Another type of self-care is mental. Solving a puzzle, playing a game, going to a museum. Anything that takes your mind, that focuses, your mind away from whatever it is. There's social self-care, which I found this one to be very amusing because I was like, social self-care for me is staying home away from people.
Yeah.
But that could fall under the self-care, absolutely. Because when we go out and it's like there's a lot of people and they suck my energy, I need that. I need to come home and I need to either be quiet, listen to music, us to have, like a deep conversation or whatever, take my focus off of that and recharge. And that's very much self-care and a part of the social self-care. Right. So if you're not a totally social person, you don't, you can look at it on the other way instead of like, oh, I have to be social because that's not really self-care. But some of the suggestions for that are like going on a date with your significant other, making a phone call to someone that you love. And I put avoiding people. It's self-care for me. No, I love people. It's just that my job is a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And I feel people's energy, and it has a tendency to suck the life out of me a lot of times. So I have to keep my circle small. And then there's spiritual self-care, meditation, yoga, going to a place of worship, doing shadow work. Doing shadow work, as hard as it is a form of self-care because it's a form of self-improvement.
Absolutely.
It helps you to better yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And help somebody selflessly. Always makes me feel good. I love that. So we're looking at anything that makes you feel good, that is positive, that is healthy. And so helping people does. Apologizing for a wrong. If you had somebody that you feel like you should have apologized to, just simply doing that. I had a friend that I felt like I didn't really end the friendship well. Like, there were some things that happened, and it didn't end well. And I felt bad for it because I made mistakes too. And that's something that we have to think about too in these situations, what our mistake was. Yeah. So I reached out and I just said, I just want you to know that I'm sorry. I wasn't looking to like rekindle the friendship or anything. I just wanted her to know I'm sorry. Right. And I'm a different person now. And that was absolutely a form of self-care. I felt so good after I did that. It was great.
It's a big weight lifted.
Yeah, it was, for sure. So let's see. So I asked our listeners what forms of self-care that they partake in, if they are regularly partaking in self-care as they should be. And the number one thing that they said was going outside and enjoying nature.
Nice.
Which, yeah, it's great. It's so hot here right now.
Yeah, I ain't going out there.
No, and I miss it out there.
I know.
I hate to say that, but I really do, because I love trees and nature, but it's just too hot to even be in the pool, which sucks. And then actually the next one was meditate. So I'm proud of you guys. Yay. I'm going to clap.
Yay. Very good.
Way to go. Because meditation, yes, it's very important. Mm-hmm. It really helps you clear your mind. And last week we talked about the meditation episode and going back and listening to that. And so I hope that some people did, because I could not do my job without it. I really couldn't. It's a big form of self-care. So
yeah, if I didn't have that and other things to, I don't know, I'd go off the deep end. Probably.
Yeah. Let's see what else they had to say about this. Was making sure to get good sleep. And again, that is really, really important. Even if, like, you don't, like me, I don't do good with the solid, straight 8 hours. Right. I wish that I could actually wake up in the middle of the night and stay awake for a while and then go back to sleep. Right. But I have had to force myself to try and get the 8 hours of sleep because my job. Yeah. And sometimes that means going to bed really early. Yeah. But you do what you got to do for yourself, for your health. On here, too, was, let's see, what was next? Be creative. I love to be creative. That's ultimately
really important, I think.
It is, yeah.
But it goes same things with, sort of activities that tend to take your mind off things. Right. It's not just taking your mind, it's much more than just taking your mind off something, because I don't want it to sound like, okay, kids, we're going to sit around and finger paint for an hour and we're not going to worry about our troubles and they're all going to vanish.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
No, but this does something to help heal and repair things inside of us. Yeah. When we participate in certain activities. Yep. It does something for us.
Yep. I will say probably, besides meditating, my number one self-care thing that I do is listen to music. It really is. Yeah. It's how I start my day. And like some days, if my headphones are dead or if I'm just like going or have a reading or whatever and I don't do it, I feel the difference. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. Put the headphones in and turn some good music on. You have to pick the right music. Like you can't pick the solemn, my life sucks type of music. It's got to be the positive stuff to make you feel better. Yeah, I sit and
just noodle on guitar with no necessarily any kind of motive other than to sit there and just noodle. And,
makes you happy.
Yeah, it's something to connect me, Yep. And disconnect me from myself for a little bit.
Yep. A few more things that weren't on the other list but are on this. Engaging with emotionally healthy people. Especially if you're surrounded by negativity all the time, being around positive people that make you laugh and make you happy is a very good form of self-care. Laughing by itself is a great form of self-care. watching a comedy or, going to a comedy show, just laughing.
Oh, yeah.
My grandma used to say that laughter is the best medicine. And I really believe that.
Oh, it is.
Yep,
Yeah.
I believe that. Going on an adventure or trying something new. That's always fun. I love to go. That, like you were talking about with the open house. I love to go and do those kinds of things because it's just an adventure. It's just trying something. You don't know what you're going to see or what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then Reiki and energy cleanses. I didn't even put this on the list. One of our listeners, Amanda, she did, and this is a great one. I do Reiki cleansing if anybody is ever interested in trying this. What I do is I balance your chakras. And so I tap into the energy and the energy centers and balance them. And it really does help. Makes a big difference. So that is definitely a form of self-care. And then we had talked about the pedicures and massages and all that. So these are all really great suggestions of different things that you can do for self-care. And so many of them are small. I would say the anti-self-care is watching the news, talking to negative people. Stay away from those things.
Yeah.
Or if you have to be around them, then take one of these things and do it for yourself. One of these, self-care things.
Or even something as simple as, let's say you love coffee or whatever, but drinking it up right up until bedtime.
No.
You're not allowing yourself to get good sleep.
Yep.
So cutting yourself off a couple hours before you actually go to bed, you're going to have better sleep.
Yes. Yes. And that was something that for my job too, going through this spiritual journey and all these things that I've changed about myself really has been to help me, but also to help me do my job better.
Right.
And cutting out the caffeine before, like dinner time is the last time that I'll have caffeine.
Right.
And we eat pretty early because it would do that. And I had talked about before how I turn my phone off at 7:30 or 8 o'clock so that I can have time to decompress before I fall asleep. These are all things that I do for myself because I know that they make me feel better. They make me feel healthier. Eating good healthy foods is another one. It is important. That is self-care, because when you're constantly filling your body with the junk food or the soda like we were talking about earlier, that's just anti-self-care, even though it's kind of delicious sometimes.
I've had back problems my whole life, so since about 5th grade, and I use a inversion table regularly pretty much every day, and that's necessary for me to be able to be comfortable in my own body. Sometimes I think about us going somewhere for a week or 2 weeks on a vacation and not having that and being I
have asked somebody a physical therapist or something how to do that, and they gave me tips. I can't remember what they were, but there are ways so that because
stretches would be equivalent. You just have to know the right stretches to do.
They said something about being on the bed and hanging off the side of the bed too.
Right.
So there are ways, but that was something that I was concerned about with you too. How do we travel and not having that? Because it really does. If anybody that has back problems, I really should go back to.
I go to a chiropractor regularly too. So
good self-care.
But because I got to keep things moving and in line.
Yep. None of these things are selfish.
Yeah.
None of them. These are things that we should be doing for ourselves, really.
Yeah.
So I have here, why? Why do we do this? Well, engaging in self-care routine has been clinically proven to reduce or eliminate anxiety and depression, reduce stress, improve concentration, minimize frustration and anger, increase happiness, and improve energy.
Yep.
Absolutely, all of it. Just putting a little bit more focus into yourself can help in so many different ways. It can be hard a lot of times for us to figure out how to put some of this self-care into a routine.
Yeah.
Or if, finances don't allow you to do things like getting a pedicure or whatever, buying a book or whatever it might be, there's always another solution to it. But here's some tips of how to go about adding self-care into your daily routine. Pay attention to your physical health. If you don't feel good, your body is telling you something. I have a horrible headache today. My body's telling me a lot of things today and I can feel I'm dehydrated.
Yeah.
I need to drink some water. My body's telling me that. I need a salad probably. Listen to your body because it knows better than you do. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was younger, because I think I could have spared myself a lot of like migraines and other things, stomach aches. Absolutely stomach aches for sure if I would have eaten better. Just now realizing that at 45 years old. We had talked about getting enough sleep. Very, very important to make sure you get enough sleep. And a lot of people are like, well, I can't. I don't have the time. No, you do. Make the time. Find it somewhere. If you don't have enough time, if you're working that much, then maybe reevaluate things, because that is not good for you. Like, there's 24 hours in a day.
There's still a way to do it. I used to split sleep.
Split is fine, yeah.
You know, I would do like 4 hours, 4 hours.
There's nothing wrong with that. I honestly wish I could, because I think I'd be more productive.
Yeah.
But yeah, as long as you're putting in that time, even if it's a nap. But that's another problem too, is that a lot of us, I don't do this anymore, but I used to, cover up pain with sleeping.
Yeah.
So if you're covering it up and you're sleeping all the time, then you might not be getting enough sleep at night. But for some people, sleep is self-care. Like people that get up really early and may work really long days, they might want to just sleep all weekend. And there is nothing wrong with that. You catch up on your sleep. That is absolutely self-care. Absolutely.
And there's a difference between quantity and quality when it comes to sleep too.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
You could sit there for 10 hours and toss and turn and never...
That's not sleep, yeah.
No.
Yeah. Summer is really hard for me. Like, I don't feel like I'm getting really good sleep here lately, because I wake up and I'm hot. And then I take the covers off. And then I wake up and I'm freezing. And I bought myself a cooling blanket, though, and I really suggest that if you have any of these kinds of problems where you don't sleep well because of the heat, the cooling blanket works. I like
Pretty
wrap.
incredible.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah, not just... Yeah, but it does. It really has helped me to not have like 10 hot flashes a night, but maybe only 2.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Let's see what else we got for you. Change your mindset. That may be like number 1 of how to go about so much of this, is changing your mindset. Changing what you believe that you deserve. Oh, I don't deserve this or that. My kids need this, and yeah, sure. Your kids have, dance, and they have football, and they have all of these different things, and so you're running around like crazy, and you're working and whatever. But take some time for yourself.
I so believe that is probably 75% of our issues is our minds.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Is our minds. And, learning how to quiet it, distract it, engage it, this is part of our lesson, because this goes with us.
Yep.
It's a part of us in death and in life. Like, meaning on the other side. And here, this is you.
Yeah.
We call it a brain because it's inside this body, but it's much more than that.
Way more, yeah.
It's your connection to the universe, to the energy that exists on this planet. It's everything. And we have to learn how to... It's a very complex thing, and we have to learn how to work with it. Because we're going to work with it for eternity.
It's true.
So that's why I keep going back to this. And, like, you're right, it is. It's, like, for example, real quick, back with the radio. If my parent had told me, I want you to polish and clean that thing with Q-tips, and I would have been like, man, damn it.
He censored himself there, I
don't want to do that,
Yeah.
It wasn't that.
Yeah.
It was my frame of mind.
That's right.
That it made it become soothing and comforting and relaxing.
Yep.
And then to see it done was like, like the exhale.
Totally.
So it's all a mind game.
Yep.
That's all this whole friggin' thing is a mind game.
That is correct. That is scarily correct. It is.
So we got to learn how to take care of it.
Yeah, really we do. I wish that they taught these things in school. They teach us so much crap that I don't remember. I don't remember most of it. But this kind of stuff would have been very helpful. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're doing things not great. But, okay, so let's see what else we got. Change mindset. Be grateful. Being grateful, just over the small things. And I know, we say in our heads, well, I am grateful, but show it. Like, put it out there to the universe. Thank you so much for whatever it is that, you're so happy with. Thank you for my abilities. I'm so, so, so thankful for that. That's a form of self-care because it makes me feel good being grateful for what I have. Yeah. Thank you for, everything. Thank you for my dogs, my husband, my family, everything. It makes you feel good. So it raises your vibration and is a form of self-care. This one has been really, really hard for me, and I know it's hard for a lot of people, and that's learning to say no. I have had a very rough go at this, and in my spiritual journey, this has been something that I've had to really learn to say, is if there's something that I don't want to do, I do not need to do it, and neither do you. I am not a fan of talking on the phone. You probably wouldn't notice that because I'm on a podcast and going to have a radio show, but I don't like the the delay, especially on the cell phone, where you end up talking over each other. It's uncomfortable to me. So I don't like to talk on the phone a lot. So for me, I don't. That's just a form of my self-care. I'll do it for work. That's fine. But I don't do it just regularly so much. But my sister would love to talk to me every day on the phone. And she always goes, I wish you'd like to talk on the phone. And you know what? We talk through like Messenger and stuff, through the voice memos and occasionally on FaceTime. But for my job and for myself, my energy, I've had to say no. Yeah. And that's hard. That's really hard to do. Or, leaving my phone on so that people have access to me at 9, 10 o'clock at night. No, and I'm not going to do that. You have to lay these boundaries down, because if you're constantly saying yes and doing things you don't want to do, you're exuding energy that isn't yours. Yeah. You have to bring that self-care back into it, whatever it is. Do something nice for yourself. I guess maybe like if we do something nice for somebody else, we should do something nice for ourselves, like a balance. Because life really is all about balance. Yeah. We just have to find it. That's all. And then I have live your best life. That is really the most important, right? Mm-hmm. Look for the things that make you feel happy. Right. Live your best life. Because, we get multiple lives. We do. But there's only one of this life. There's only one time I'm going to be Samantha and you're going to be Danny, and we're going to be in these experiences. Right. And I try and remind myself of that often, especially when I feel like I'm not enjoying like the everyday things, where you just feel like things are monotonous. I try and remind myself, but you're 45 years old. Yeah. And you should be grateful for every single day and enjoy every single day and live your best life. Yeah. That's what the universe wants us to do.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. I mean, that's not licensed to go crap on others.
No, not at all.
Do it. Live your best life in a loving, respectful, compassionate, exciting way.
Absolutely. You should. And really, I know from talking to a lot of you that the whole point of the self-indulgence and it being selfish, the self-care, we have to let go of that. We have to think about that when we tell ourselves those things. I don't deserve this, or I shouldn't do that because I have this to do or that to do. But you're going to do those things better if you're feeling better. If you're feeling better about yourself, then those things you have to do, you might do a better job at them. You might do a better job at your job itself. Mm-hmm. You spend some time outside, talk to the trees a little bit, enjoy a waterfall or whatever you have in your area, and then you might do your job better. I do. Mm-hmm. I really do. I do my job better when I'm more in myself and I'm relaxed and have practiced self-care. Yeah. So I'm going to challenge everybody this week to do that, to do something that you keep saying you're going to do for yourself and you don't. And try and see how it makes you feel, and how does it change anything in your life, the way that you feel about home life or your job or whatever. Does it change? Some people are snappy with their kids and then they feel bad, but they're just so needing some kind of something, that some kind of release, and then they release it in the wrong place, and it's but if we could do it somewhere else, then maybe it wouldn't come out that way. Exactly. If we could take care of ourselves, we would take care of others better too.
Yeah, so many of the mistakes are merely innocent, they're not really intended to hurt others' feelings, but because we're not taking a moment for ourselves to deal with something or process something, sometimes others in our paths get their feelings hurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, that's, we're infallible. Yeah. We're not perfect. But if we can acknowledge to each other where we've been wrong and love each other, it can be a lot better.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go out this week and do some things for yourself. And that's selfish.
Yeah, no.
And then share with us. We'd love to hear what you've done and how it helped you.
Absolutely. It's always important.
It is, yes. So
Mucho.
So there you have it, France.
Very good.
Yay.
Very excited.
Another episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, before we do saying goodbyes, would you like to share your page?
Yes. So once again, you can find me, Samantha Jones, psychicmedium.com. You can schedule a reading right there. It's fabulous. Go to the schedule a reading page, and my times are all there. And then if you would like to reach us, you can email us at the show, spiritualjoneses@gmail.com. We love your questions, comments, everything. We have a Facebook group as well that you can join. You can find that at Spiritual Joneses is all of our social media. And then if you go to that on Facebook, I always put a link there with each episode every week of like what we're going to do to join our discussion group. So
Yep.
you can join there and
Awesome.
help us. Yeah, we love our group. Everybody in there is so great. And they support each other, and it's fabulous. So,
Very cool.
So join us if you haven't yet.
Please.
And for you, good sir.
Yes, for my art, once again, djonesartcollection.com for the web, at djonesartcollection for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Fabulous.
I was thinking, since Crystal had mentioned about that song, before the show launches, we could play the song
That's a great idea.
here, because once you hear it on the show, there'll be an announcer on it.
That's a
over
great
the top
idea.
of it. But maybe in the next couple episodes, we'll throw it at the end.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When we get
it's
closer
great.
to your launch, just to get people excited.
What was the word that Tom used to describe the song? It was a word.
Ethereal.
I was like, what is
Yeah,
that?
I told him I was texting him and I asked him for his input and to listen to it for me. And he said it sounded professional and ethereal. And
Ethel, what?
I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Before I respond, I had to go to Google real fast and look at the
What are you talking
definition.
about, Willis? Yeah.
So, but it was very complimentary. It was a
Yes.
very nice compliment. So,
Yeah, it's a great little jingle. So excited for you guys to all hear it.
cool.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yay.
All right. Well, we hope everybody got something out of this.
Yep.
Go out and treat yourself right
Do it.
and let us know what you did.
Yes.
And we hope you have a great week.
That we do.
Until next week.